What up, everybody? All right. Get some stuff changed real quick. Get over into Modeler. And we will start planning out what we are going to be doing for the next while. Okay, back to gameplay. Got Modeler open. All right, so past couple days, I've been doing a little bit of work off stream just to kind of get things up and running a little bit smoother. That can actually go away. That's fun. So it's kind of a mess over in this corner of just stuff. Obviously, we've got the leaning tower of storage containers, but all this is up and running. Technically, this is even running at 100%. So everything is getting sank. Everything is happy. We're no longer producing any excess waste. In fact, we're actually at one point this got all the way up to I think like 52,000 waste, and I let it go for like 10 hours yesterday. A couple, maybe like 4 hours the other night after stream, the last stream, and then I let it run like all day yesterday. And now we're down to 13.7. So, basically, what we're doing is, so all the, or 10 out of the 12 nuclear reactors are on. So everything that goes into those can be sank. So anything extra gets sank, and then so it doesn't produce any excess waste. And then instead, I think those produce like 50 waste each per minute. I think so. 100 a minute, I think, is what it is. It's getting not created, and so we're just any of the waste that was overflow, that was too much when everything was running, went into this tower, and then I just looped this tower back in on itself. And so when it finds room on that belt and the opportunity, it basically just goes into these last two. I mean, but in reality, it's really just this last one that's handling it. It can't do 100 a minute. Obviously, it can only do 31.25. So it's not as equal as if those were running. So that's why it's been taking so long. But anyway, so yeah, we've got the number down. It's going down. But in the meantime, so while it was doing that, I just let it kind of go and do its thing. But I also started doing some other fixes. So there were some things that were wrong. Like for example, this splitter here was not set up properly. This was set to any instead of overflow. So this dude wasn't running at 100%. And then the big problem though was the water. And I redid a few pipes. What I did is I just added 2 more extractors at the very, very end, and added 2 additional pipes that feed into the top row of our giant pipeline that comes from over here. So that's what we did. What I did to get to where we are. There's a few other things. One thing that we're still battling. The big thing that I did is I finally solved our coal problem. So if you remember, we have 2 coal nodes over. I can't see through the smoke, but there's some coal nodes here and here, and they were basically going up, and then they were getting delivered to truck station, and the truck station was delivering it. So we were running into a problem that like every couple of hours, essentially the trucks would get on would kind of start, their timetables would start to like mesh, like they would just kind of get to where they were all delivering back to back to back. So while the trucks have the throughput to support what we needed, because they weren't on like a fixed, like this is how long, it's not like a train where it's like this is my schedule, and my schedule will never change type of thing. Because of like traffic and stuff like that, like everything would intersect and it would throw stuff off. So that truck station would sometimes run out of coal completely, and then there'd be like a truck that was completely full of coal, but then this was full, but then it would take so long for the trucks to get back that this would actually run out, because it was doing 480 to all of this stuff here, making steel pipes for industrial beams up here, and then it was also sending 480 coal from there all the way down through here to these belts here, and then that was affecting our aluminum output. So what I ended up doing was just taking the coal that we were getting from over at the nitrogen turbo fuel, and bringing it over here. And then we also had 120 that was being left over from the steel production at this area. So those two lines got merged and balanced and all that kind of stuff. That actually took me quite a while to figure out what I was going to do. Because it's 560 that... don't care about that screenshot. So it was 560 coal per minute getting delivered, so it's balanced coming out of the storage containers to 480 and an 80. So now it'll never run out, because that was the big problem I did have, is that I was just sending it out and it was on a 780 belt. So its source was 780, but then it would run out before the train got here, because it's actually only being fed 560 a minute. So anyway, that's taken care of now. 480 and 80, and then this is 120. So we've got 200 coal going back to that side of the factory. And the coal that was being used, we will figure out what the reliable number is, because evidently 960 coming out of that truck stop is not reliable. It's probably closer to 7. If I had to guess, it's probably closer to like 780 a minute. But we want to make sure that we're dedicating 480 to our original setup, and then we'll just kind of figure out what that number is after. As far as what that number is that we'll use that for. So basically, that coal line will be used for the aluminum plant, the big aluminum plant, that will hopefully power the rest of the save. Not power, but we'll do the rest of the we'll feed into the rest of the save all of our aluminum needs. So we just finished up one aluminum setup, and that run is dedicated to the are those yellow? No, they are green. Sometimes the green on the up against the sand color background makes them look yellow. So yeah, this aluminum setup is dedicated to the nuclear facility, and then there's a bunch of overflow. But it's dedicated to the nuclear stuff first. So it should be the most reliable form. So yeah, I'm actually gonna put a thing here. So the other thing, I was going around checking stuff, and there's another problem that we've got, and that is our oil. So this dude and this dude essentially are our trouble childs, and they are backing up, which then is not making enough heavy oil residue, which is then not making enough fuel to run all of this and those fuel gens over there. So they're starting to back up. Thankfully, we're still producing enough for the needs of nuclear. So this is all dedicated to everything from that train this way is all dedicated to nuclear in some form or fashion. Like I said, there's a lot of overflow. Like there's technically we only needed like 700 quick wire, and we're producing like 3,000 because it's like, well, if I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna do a pure. So yeah. But so anyway, we're not getting enough oil, and so that's the first thing that we're gonna do today is correct this problem. So to do that, we need to head all the way out to our canyon. I'm just gonna fly there. I'm not gonna, because it takes like 5 minutes to get over there. So the problem is that these guys aren't running at 100%. And that pipe is all the way over here. So these two pipelines come from one extractor, and I think that's what the problem is that I need exactly 600 oil. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it on two pipelines. Well, there's only one extraction point, or one export pipe on the extractors on this dude. And so he's not running at 100%, even though it's a 600 pipe, and then it immediately splits and does this. So I think what we're going to do today is actually tear down all of this. This was our temporary power setup to help us power on nuclear. So this is all going to get torn out. That's what we're going to start with. And then when I put this in place, I ran this temporary pipe in from that node, and then that node is powering all of this power. But I think instead of what we're going to do is we're going to undo this joint, and then it's just going to be 300 from this dude and 300 from that dude. And then possibly in the future, if I need more oil stuff, then we can just boost the production of these guys and then split off at the factory. Just making sure that we're not running a full 600 out of these pipes. But so yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So right now we're making 116 power with the nuclear stuff and 2 augmenters. But 2 reactors are shut off, so there's another 12,500, I think, is what it is. That would get added back. These guys, I think, add like 5,000 megawatts or something like that. So I think we should, at the end of the day, produce more power than what is on this graph, or at least we should. So yeah, that's the plan. I think first we need to just make some room in the old inventory. Let's see, heat sinks. Yeah, got you stored up. I don't think I need. Okay, evidently they can fit in there though. Put you over there. Put you in there. Oh, that's full. Wow, that's a lot of screws. That's not a lot of screws, but we don't need screws. I don't need steel ingots. I don't need one cable. Don't need a whole single stack of cable. I need to put that in there. I think this is all the crystal oscillators that I have left. Okay, that's all full up. Okay, so yeah, let's just start deleting. Alright. I need to make sure that I delete the blueprint so I don't just have a bunch of floaty bits. Anthony Donahoe. What's up, man? How's it going? How are you doing on this fine Saturday morning? It is Saturday, right? I don't know. This whole holiday thing's got me confused. Alright, and then all of you can go away. I guess I need power so I can float. I guess I can go from you. Doing Satisfactory yourself? Yeah, man. It's the new age of Saturday morning cartoons for middle-aged dudes and ladies, I guess. Gotta be equal with this. Oh, okay. I see. Okay, so you were. So we're gonna have to hook you up. We're gonna get. I forgot about. I'm gonna add power over there. Let's do this for now. I just wrapped up nuclear, so now I'm tearing down some temporary power that I set up out here in the middle of nowhere, and getting rebalancing some oil pipes is what I'm working on today. So we can finally actually start phase 4. Because up until this point, we've unlocked phase 4 and did the tiers. And then went straight to nuclear and haven't done a single thing in phase 4 yet. Like actually like proper tier 4 stuff. We've got some like a few floating factories just to get us parts, but that's it. I'm gonna have to like check Satisfactory calculator. Best not. Okay, so this thing actually provided a lot more power than I thought it did. Interesting. I thought it was closer to like 5 or 10,000, but whatever. I guess if it adds 10% of the power that your network has, the augmenters do, and then you take down 10,000, like that should affect the augmenters output as well. So I guess that's part of the reason why it's more than I thought. I've already beaten my game, torn I've torn everything, and now I'm building from scratch with mods. Oh, okay. Wait, so you, instead of just starting a new save, you just tore everything down? Interesting. Oh, right. I forgot about that oil setup. That's why it's more than I thought. Okay, let's just start getting rid of some of this stuff. I don't need the plastic. I don't need the rubber. Technically don't need these guys. Hopefully I won't be doing a whole lot of... Hopefully I won't be doing a whole lot of pipeline stuff in the near future. Interesting. So why that approach versus just like starting a new save with like advanced? I assume it's because you wanted the just so you have everything unlocked. But like, why not just like do advanced game settings to start in a later phase? Guess for the nostalgia of being able to go back to look at the old save. I guess if you wanted to. I guess it's not really. It's like you beat it. Why go back? I guess, but. I don't know. I guess it's not really that big of a deal because I don't remember the last time I went back to an old save. Just go. All right, fair enough. All right, so you're normal. Fair enough. Ooh, I got a bunch of power shards back. Nice. Not that I was running too terribly low, but that's a nice benefit. I completely forgot about that. Okay, so that is all of that taken care of. So now we got to build. We got to get power and whatnot over there for this dude. Are you changing your gameplay for this playthrough then? Like, what are you doing differently? So I think I'll move those to there, and then maybe we'll start. Two, three, four, five. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, so that's what we use. Just every 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5 and then 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yep. Can I even change the game settings to advanced with this profile? Yeah, you can do it at any time. You just as soon as you do it, you then lose the ability to get achievements. Even though that can technically be turned back on, so that's not a huge problem. All right, so now we need to... I'm gonna keep you just in case. Not worried about achievements. Yeah. But yeah, you can activate those at any time. That ain't no thing. Ain't no problem. Okay, let's do... Thinking about that, maybe I should use my blueprint. Pipeline top. I only need one pipe, though, so I don't think it's worth using this dude. Do I have... line top alt? Nope. Pipeline top simple. It's fine. It's just one pipe. It's so few platforms, so I'll just do it manually, and then we won't have this problem. A little overkill for something I'll never, hopefully never have to see again. But it's kind of the theme for this entire save is ridiculous overkill. Like, not really, but... thought so. Okay, then let's do all right, bro, you kiss my ass. Logistics. I don't want to get rid of all of it. Okay, that's fine. I didn't want to get rid of all of that. That's the thing. And I think it was carbon steel is what we're using. So I only need 600, so we'll do 300 out of you. I guess before we do that, let's put on our lights, and then that way we also have our... We have a way to get power. I should have painted all of these before I put them. Because now I gotta do it. No. All right, so then you're hooked up. so then you guys are all turned on. You can go away. You can go away. I guess all that's left is putting in the pipeline, and then technically, hopefully, that oil problem should no longer be a problem. You are powered, right? You just don't. Yeah, you're full. All right, so now I mean, the curve looks, but I gotta put a pump on this. That's what if instead we place that, go to there. Now we're talking. Okay. Can I has thingy, please? Okay, that can go to there, and then All right. So then you can go back to 300. What up, Freddy? How you doing? Thank you for the hydrate. I was parched. So hopefully that will then fix our oil problem. You're not turned on. What the fuck? That whole left side is not turned on. I don't understand. Why do you not have power? How did I manage to hook up the whole every left side to have power, but then the right doesn't? That's weird. That's skill is what that is. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. And then that should have turned on, yeah. Yes, okay. So Freddie, I don't know if were you here for the like intro update, what we've been doing, what's been happening, blah blah blah, or did you just get here? Just got here. So basically, if you remember, there used to be like a giant nasty mess of diluted fuel power plant right here, and one over yonder as well. Basically, it was a temporary setup so that we had enough power to actually continue working for nuclear. So I tore all that out, and I was fixing. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I was trying to go around, just basically getting the waste chewed up, which we've made progress on. We're still doing it right now. But one of the things, and just fixing a bunch of like problems that was resolving, like splitters not being set up correctly, getting the water fixed. The water's finally fixed. Well, I say it's finally fixed, but 2 of the reactors are not turned on, so we'll see. But they weren't turned on, and the water still wasn't working. But now the water is working. So once I turn them on, hopefully they'll stay. But anyway, one of the problems that I noticed was that our oil and rubber, or our rubber and plastic, was stuttering. Water complaint. No, that's not complaint. It's now fixed, and it's just an observation. So So the rubber and plastic was not staying steady. And I think it was because even though this was split into two pipes, it was still one pipe coming out of that oil extractor, and so there was one pipe trying to do 600. And if it can't actually do 600, then I think that was what the problem is. So we tore all of those power plants out, which we needed to do anyway. Now that we have nuclear set up, and then basically split it into two extractors, each one doing 300 each. And so hopefully now we should be in the clear, and our oil will start producing correctly. You don't need to be a thing anymore. And then we can get back to doing that, because then the problem that it was causing is there is a little bit of the machines are backing up, and so they're flickering on and off, but not enough to where it was causing a problem for nuclear, because we were making surplus anyway. So thankfully that's not a problem I got to face. But anyway, that's the problem, is just trying to get this resolved, because it is causing a problem if we wanted to try to use these packages in the future. Right now they're just getting sank, but if we wanted to use them in the future, then we'll need to get those resolved. But hopefully it should be. Hopefully hooking up two extractors solves that problem. Two extractors at 300 instead of one extractor at 600. I haven't had too many problems in the past with extractors being ran at a full pipe when it came directly out of it, but I guess maybe because it wasn't going straight from the extractor straight into a machine. Instead, it was doing a junction to split onto two pipelines. I think maybe that was potentially causing a problem. Do I have an overflow for that? Yes, I do. Still have a little bit of a problem here, so we're not producing enough fabric, so some machine is not happy yet. And I thought it was because we were sloshing fuel here, so I put on this valve just to make it so the fuel didn't go backwards, but I might have to go inspect and like clear out some machines, but not sure. Okay, you can get emptied out. You should not be backed up anymore. And I fixed the coal problem. So a lot of progress on fixes. And I got a bunch of power shards back by doing all of that. Okay, that's just going to take a while to fill back up since I deleted all that. But okay, back to mainland. So I think that's as much progress as I want to make on the factory. So as far as the waste goes, I think we got up to something like 52,000, I think is what it was. Yeah, we got up to like 52,000 waste, and then so I turned off 2 reactors, and this tower we're down to 11.6. So it's just circulating back on itself, and anytime it has the ability to get rid of it, because 2 of those reactors aren't on, it does. But these guys are finally running at 100%. Okay, so yeah, that's the progress on the factory. So these machines over here are the ones that are causing it's mainly this one and this one. They don't produce enough heavy oil residue, which then is making it to where the diluted fuel doesn't get produced enough, which then is cutting down on the recycled plastic because it doesn't have enough fuel. But like I said, thankfully we're making in excess of what we need to run nuclear, so technically it's all good. Now, why are you... Oh yeah, so this is the other problem though, is because we don't have enough oil coming in, we don't have enough empty packages to then package the water coming out of the aluminum setup. So we're having a bit of a recycling problem. But everything should be set up. So this will suffer a little bit for now. My merged coal will probably go up. My merged coal being one of these lines over here. Well, technically it'll be this merged line over here. That will go up. So I ended up changing out the truck stop. I think I talked about this at the end of my last stream. This truck stop was running low, or would run empty because the trucks would like get backed up and they wouldn't deliver the full 960. And so we did have coal coming from that truck station going to the steel stuff here, and then another 480 line coming all the way over here and feeding into all of this. And it was going to be this coal that's on that line with the bauxite for aluminum. So instead I took the coal that we were delivering from this train, split it up, and now this is getting fed the coal. Why are you stuttering? Is it excess coal? Oh yeah, it's because overflow bauxite. I want this to be any undefined. It has to let coal through, but I want it to be, if there was overflow, then it would go right, but I don't want any bauxite going forward. So that's going to be... This is the problem with sushi belts that I've discovered is I can set them up for success, but then in this case the math doesn't work out because there's more on it than there should be. I can't really do anything about that because if I take off too much coal, then other stuff breaks. That is more critical. So it's just gonna have to be fine for now until we start getting more packages coming in. Fun. All right, so I think now we're gonna camp out of the radiation. And start taking a look at Modeler. Okay, so this 480 is not 100% correct. So what we need to do actually, I guess, is we're going to say old nuke coal, not always 480. Oh, let's just say not always 480, not reliably. I'll remember why that used to be that way. I'll remember that. So we have all of this. When we have all of this getting passed on, we need to get rid of that. You can get rid of these two. We don't need those anymore. This aluminum factory. So this needs to be redone based on the amount of coal that we're going to have. And these numbers were the way they were because of what phase 4 is, but it's not taking into consideration that I have some aluminum coming from the nuclear. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I have any. I only have 120 ingots. I need 726, so this is going to have to be fairly large. Man, it's going to suck to have to deal with this fuel line. I know it's for fused modular frames, but I'm going to have to deal with it. It's in the middle of everything. I'm going to go quick bio break, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so do we start with the aluminum or do we start with? I think we do. So we've got. This originally was calling for 1,000 coal. I definitely don't have 1,000 coal reliably available. I've got like maybe 600, and that's, I would say we've got reliably 500. I don't know if I've already upgraded these or not. I think I did. So I don't think I can grab coal from these guys. Oh no. These have not been upgraded. These are all still Mark IIs. Normal. Normal. And you're probably normal as well. Okay. So we could get, what is that, 9, is it 900 on a, with a Mark III? What are you, 300? Yeah. Okay. That could change some things. So let's say I can get 780. I could get a full 780 from that, and that's being generous. Or, excuse me, that's being conservative with what I could get out of that. If I could get 780, let's, okay, we're just gonna delete all that and we'll just figure it out. So we know we have 200, a steady 200, and then we know we've got from nuke. And then this can be from OG steel. So then that would be what does this recipe do versus this one? Oh, really? So this, you don't even need blenders for. Or, excuse me, you don't even need refineries for. Interesting. That could be kind of cool. No sloppy alumina. So uses less. And then sulfuric acid. 294 and 245 is definitely still less than 816. And it uses less bauxite. I kind of want to do this just as a... I've never used it before. Yeah, let's look at this. 490 sulfur. So there's a sulfur node over here that I'm not using. That guy. Oh, it's already here. And you're normal, so that'd be 600. Yeah, so we should have more than enough that we can use from it. 470. We'll put a splurger in here just so you can see this, the total amount. It means we'll have to do something with this water byproduct. Pure aluminum ingots, just a shit ton of smelters. That could be like, this could be like the easiest aluminum setup ever. What does this get me? It does get me more, but I don't have anywhere near that amount of silica. Okay, so now we'll just do this. Ooh. Now that is interesting. So that, we could just have that nice little circle. So I could just recycle that water. I don't have to worry about, oh, this has this much, this has that much. Add it together, split it, all that kind of stuff. Okay, we're definitely doing this setup. So this is 600. Priority splitter. And then you'll go to a storage container, set you to empty. I'm not complaining about water. Like, this is actually super exciting. Like, I don't have to, it's recycling, but it's a 1-to-1. So it's not like I said, it's not complaining about there being an issue of like a normal one where it produces a different amount than the other refineries take in. And so you have to worry about that balance. But because this is 1-to-1, it's literally like, who cares? So no, this is great. It's great news. Okay, so what was I thinking? 726, but then 544. I don't know if this is actually going to be enough aluminum, though. That's the thing. So we'll say storage container for you, and we'll say you're empty. And then we'll say casings, alclad casings. And you'll go into a storage container. Empty. So we'll need copper. I think I was planning on this guy, which is... I think you're right under the bridge, aren't you? That's iron. That guy, I believe. Yes. So that one, and then the sulfur. Okay. You're up here, right? Yes. Copper ore. Okay, so that is honestly super easy aluminum setup. I didn't know about this recipe. This recipe looks awesome. Hopefully, the only thing is hopefully it's enough resources. Do aluminum ingots actually get used for anything? Alclad sheets, heat fused frames. I think this is what I was going to use. Heat fused frames, yeah. So I'm using this recipe for the next stage of the frames. So I have to have some aluminum ingots, which according to this, I only needed 544 in my thoughts for that, and I have 120 over here. So aluminum primary alu factory. And it only uses 5 water extractors. So that's technically it uses one pipeline. Like one Mark II pipe. I could probably find that and find that in the existing pipeline. Find enough room in that and then clock it over. Okay. So that will be hopefully our aluminum. I could even technically, if I absolutely needed more, like this is only, we'll call it 10 machines. Like I could even sloop some of this to produce even more. So that could be cool, I suppose. What do you get used in? Radio control units. So that's that's the big one. And heat exchangers. Okay, so phase 4. I'm actually gonna grab you as well. trying to think how much of this I want to get rid of. I guess I should just get rid of a lot of it and then build back what I don't need. Or just get rid of a lot of it and then I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because like I have control rods being... I have some of these already being made and carried over, like almost enough. $13.3 and I only need 7.75, so like this whole step doesn't even need to exist. Okay. Yeah, let's just delete all of you except for you guys. So we'll start with the heat fused frames because all of this is basically done. Man, getting all that copper is not going to be fun. Heat fused frames. Let's, because I probably going to want some left over after what I saw is required for particle accelerators and whatnot. So we've got 27 being passed on. What are you used for? Pressure conversion. So literally only two things plus making stuff. Are pressure conversion cubes used for anything? Plutonium fuel unit. So I would need extra if I wanted to create. Just so I know. Just so we can look at that rabbit hole real quick. Yeah, sure, whatever. What are these things called that I got left over? Plutonium fuel rods. Plutonium fuel. Oh, okay. So I don't actually even need to make. I don't need to go down this rabbit hole. Plutonium nuclear power. Just looking. Okay, yeah, that starts to go. We don't need this. Let's what do we use to craft things? Or what do you use those to be? Fused modular frame. How many of these a minute should I keep? So they're used in Mark III, particle accelerators, converters. So really just two machines that I would be building a lot of, and those guys. So honestly, I don't need to pass them along. I've got 140 fuel. I mean, that's perfect. Nitric acid. Okay, so then this is where we're going to start needing the nitrogen again. We're also going to need it for you. Got 15 of you left over. Do I use some heat sinks in crafting? That's a negative. Cool. What is that? Package nitrogen gas directly. Okay, that's kind of cool. But it uses pressure conversion cubes. Gross. How? I didn't. So turbo motors are only used for thermal propulsion rockets, but they're also used in crafting. Turbo motors. Particle accelerators, quantum encoders, miners, portals. So what's the other recipe? So I was planning on using the standard one, I guess. Hydrate. Priority splitter. think I'm gonna I'm gonna try something new for dimensional storage. A different thing to try to help keep track of a few things. So you go in there, you go in here as well. Just so I don't lose track of what I'm keeping, and it helps balance out some numbers. Ba, 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 ba. What are those? These used for anything? Also computer converters. So okay, so the same stuff basically. So I definitely need these on tap. I think I was going to use these guys. So I gotta have more numbers in place before I can. I need something to be the limit here. I think my limit is. I think my limit is going to be nitric acid, or is going to be nitrogen. That's my, pretty sure that's my like real limit here. Just quickly fly over here. $1,800. Okay, that's nice. Because I think I've got 150 canisters already made. So if we just say that's our limit, is how many canisters, so I don't have to make more. From nuke. How much was I planning on originally? 1,087. So I might have to make more canisters. Okay, let's get away from that stuff. It's super loud. I guess I don't even necessarily have to do it. I could just, it would just be whatever I already have, 150 or whatever, and then I can just make more. Yeah, I could do it that way. Okay. Okay, this number's going to way down. I don't need 90 of these things a minute just being sank. So, yeah. That's going to get fixed. That being said, you guys need coolers. Okay, and then you need radio control units. Hydrating. And I'm passing along 32 computers. But only 13 crystal oscillators. This uses no computers. I do need high-speed connectors. Like a buttload. What else are you used in? Superposition, oscillators. motors. So I could split these. Have both recipes in here because I'm going to need to make more crystal oscillators, and I don't want to use so many aluminum casings. Wow, that is a lot of heat sinks. Holy shit. Yeah, let's go with that recipe. I need water, but I got rubber. I don't need to make so many. How many motors do I have? Come on. 27.5. I don't know about this one. Because it's not like heat sinks are terribly difficult to make. So that's 1-to-1 with the ingots. That's one water extractor for all of those. I've definitely got the rubber. That's less aluminum required, so we'll go with that one. And then I can save the motors for this dude. Wow, I went from having 90 extra to no extra. That sucks. So maybe that other one, it's more stuff, but it produces way more. Yeah, it produces like twice as much. I think you're going to be an outpost for, what are these things called? It's cooling something. Cooling system. This will be priority merger. Yes. Because that's how many I do have left over. Dang, this shit uses a lot of nitrogen. Somehow I'm going to end up using that entire node. So I'm going to need another motor factory. Radio control units. Control rods we have, so we're good there. Oh shit, even more radios. This thing... I'm just gonna drag you to over there. I've got you go from there. Priority splitter, sure, why not? Let's do that and that. You're also needed. I was hoping setting a limit on some of this was going to kick it into calculating. Also need supercomputers to be stored, right? I'll need some later on. Do they get used in anything? They're used in particle accelerators or something. Particle accelerator, quantum encoders, yeah. So I'm going to need them in the future. All right, so I need to set some numbers. Um, the only thing I got set is the fuel because I don't want to make any more fuel. The rubber, I have no idea. Radios. I don't need 12 supercomputers left over. I can tell you that much. I don't even need 4 turbo motors. So what if I set you to be exactly 4. I don't need that many supercomputers, so what if I set you to 4 as well? Still don't even need that many. 1.5, that sounds good. Wait, I need supercomputers in the future. Did my scratch pad have... Did I start looking at... So I need 9 quantum processors in the next stage, which is 9 supercomputers. So if I had 10 left over... Okay, so we'll make... Storage container, empty, pass you along. Where were... You're going here and here. Okay. Okay. Turbo motors aren't used, you know, we're good there. I don't think I need... No. So that number can come down. To like 75, maybe? What if we limit you to 27 and you to 50? There's some good looking numbers right there. That leaves me with that, which leaves me with 1.5 of these per minute being saved. I like those. That's a much better number. Okay. So then radio control units, turbo motors, pressure conversion cubes. And I don't need pressure conversion cubes for... Right? Fuel unit. Nuclear power plant. Yeah, because I'm making that. So I don't need to go down that road. So what? I don't want to make any more computers. So how many computers do I have? 32. But I do want some. So we could say awesome sync. Priority splitter. I want you to keep to 30. So then I need to make at least 30 from you. Wait, no. So I need at least 25 crystal oscillators, and I've got 13. So cool. Although I got some of that right there. I can make more from that stuff. A 100. That's quite a few. $600 casings. That's going to be, well, wait, 1,080 casings. So then we're going to need a motor factory. Mark II. Um, 1,080 casings, man. That's a lot. Which means I don't think my aluminum factory is big enough. And my limiting factor is the coal. But that's it, right? I think that's everything for phase 4, which honestly is not too terribly bad. This is certainly going to suck. I don't know what this is all about. At least I don't have to make control rods. Well, at least I don't have to do that. And I should technically have some left over, yeah. What else will you made it used in? Fixonium fuel rods in the future? No. Turbo motors, don't care about. Electric motors. Nope. Okay, so then you need priority splurger murder. Yes, good. So is that I gotta do the plates. Which yeah, I've got plenty of iron to come over. You guys can be made and then be done. You are fine. Cooling systems. Oh, I'll need iron for a motor factory. Let's build you guys out real quick. Priority merger. Because we will have some motors already. 27.5, so let's say that it's 20. We've got tons and tons of quick wire, so that's good. You can go up there. So I need you to make awesome sync. We're gonna keep 7.5. 55. So let's make that's it. I don't actually need motors for anything else in the game. Am I passing pipes? I've got 30 pipes, and then priority. I don't have that much steel coming over. I've got 345. Do I have concrete? I got 50 concrete. So that sucks. Am I really like 3 short? A little more. Do I got concrete on the map? It says you're claimed, but you're pure. How claimed are you? Not that claimed. Okay, so we got concrete. We can have at least 300 more. Under augmenters. Well, that sucks. I can get 300, but it only gives me 100. I need 168. I've got 50 coming over. So I'm gonna have to find more. From Nuke. That's not how much I had. I got 345. So that'll correct itself when I delete that. What was I needing here? So I'm keeping that. Some. Priority splitter. Could instead just make steel pipes and then pass that along. So this actually is not needed. You're needed. You're needed. I don't know where you're going to come from, but you're going to come from the same place where we make all of that required. Maybe not. That's going to be its own... That'll be its own thing. So we got to figure out that little bit of copper, but everything else is figured out. So I think the only problem is the aluminum. I don't have enough of that. So I wasn't even close to to this finishing off the game. Well, where was I using AI thingies? AI limiters. Supercomputers, maybe? But then that makes high speed and computers required. But is it because... So I was going to make 15. $18.75 was my number. I think this is okay. This plan is fine, and so I'm just gonna have a shit ton of AI limiters left over. I guess I could use them to help make AI or to make crystal oscillators. $13,325. So I need to make at least 12. Priorities. Whoop. Priority splitter. That leaves me, okay, yeah, that will work delightfully. Delightfully so. I don't understand, why are you... Okay. That works there. Ba, 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 ba. Supercomputers. Why did you stop doing that? Oh, that's right, because you're gonna... Because I only need how many? 9.5 for phase 5. I guess these could all go into actual dimensional depot. I don't know if these work the same way as storage containers do, and they help stop calculating. But that's okay. All right, crystal oscillators, computers, quartz, more rubber. Storage container, empty. AI limiters and circuit boards. So the circuit boards, we need to do the same thing as the other ones. Priority merger. I've got plenty of quick wire. And then we want plastic. And we make 3625. Okay, JK. Some really gross numbers. go there, you go there, and then you come here. What is that? 100. $63.75. So if I say you're 64, 65. Can I get some better numbers? 66, 70. Okay, there we go. Really, I don't use plastic anywhere else in this whole chain? No. No, 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 no. What about... Nope. Oh, and I haven't even accounted for all the aluminum that I actually need there. Damn. Wow. So that's actually quite a bit more rubber than I thought. 300 versus 1,000. Okay, that sucks. So I might need to do another oil setup. Yet again. That rubber, I don't even think I'm handling it yet. I think it's just going straight up. Okay, so I've got 400 and 300. So I got 700. Still not 1,000. I'm pretty sure it's you. $399, 400. Yep. Am I okay? So the oil is cleared. So you guys should be getting good. getting good. Yeah, I said it. So it looks like the oil problem got resolved. Which means our water problem should be getting resolved over here for the unpackaging. Which means you guys are all happy. And how are we doing on our giant tower? Okay, so we're down to 7,000. I think we started at 10.1 at the beginning of the stream. It's 10 something. So I think we're good there. Okay, so I think that's the plan. The problem is aluminum. The rubber, I can figure that out. Like, that's easy enough to spin up another thing of yeah, the rubber, I can spin up another rubber plant for where are you going? From phase 3. $18,675. Yay. Where was that? And I don't see how that's needed anywhere else, so that can go along. There's a ton of stuff being not used. Heavy modular frames needs to get put in line. So aluminum, that's our biggest problem, because of course it is. What can I do over here? The bottleneck is coal. And I said I could probably get 900. Where did this go? I went to there. Okay. So I can't really do much about that one. That's just casing. I needed sheets for heat sinks. Which I was proposing here. This does use less in the grand scheme. Okay, so just in general, what does this look like? That's a lot of scrap. That's a lot of fucking coal. God damn. And it's more acid than I have access to. Oh boy, here we go. And this can't be made anymore. Efficient. But then I'd have to have this, which is a whole thing by itself. So besides the aluminum, I think we've got phase 4 figured out. So I can... What was I gonna do? Like, how did I pull this off? Oh, I don't have all the aluminum hooked up. That's why it was working. Okay. So then we'll just delete you and you. Move you into place, move you into place, and then oh, that one was that's what it was. Oh, you didn't like that. Are you not saved? You are saved, so I don't know why you're calculating. Motor factory. Okay, we'll hold off on you. You don't like to be calculated either. That's fun. don't like that. Priority splurger. So it takes those first, then it takes these. So you go to there, and then you go here. Okay, so it likes that. I don't need 10 of these left over. Okay, so let's try the motors again. Now we know that little trick. So this will be priority splurger. Storage container. Motors. Awesome sync. You are just fine. Where are my motors at? Okay, if you just type it, it's fine. Interesting. Why are you unaccounted for? how can we clean you up? You go up there, you're down there, you... Okay, so that's all cleaned up. Then you guys are... You, and then you... Oh, wait, no, pipes. And then wire. Then steel ingots. You come from somewhere else. You come from somewhere else. You're somewhere else. You will also be somewhere else. So let's move you to up here. Because I think we're going to have to do another oil setup at turbo towers. And then so that'll go that way. Cooling systems. So the rubber. That is a nasty mess. But that is what it looks like. Pure aluminum factory. So there's a few things to figure out. Aluminum, extra rubber. And then the copper. Copper, I have no idea what we're going to do with the copper. I think maybe so we can overclock those 2 oil extractors to make the extra rubber, and then maybe we'll make a separate fuel setup for all the drones that we'll need for copper gathering. Yeah. And then we'll use the train that I was going to use for this, either for aluminum or for copper gathering, and we'll use drones for the other, whichever one it is. Yeah. But okay, I think that's it. Thanks, Freddie, for hanging out, and I'll probably be streaming tomorrow morning. It's another chill little session, and we'll work on figuring out. We'll try to figure out this aluminum problem, but that'll be for tomorrow. How did we get on our waste? I think I said we were below 10, down to 5.8. So I could probably, I'll just leave this. No, I don't, because I don't want to, if this stops, then it's going to cause, or if this empties, then this is going to cause problems down here, which will cascade all the way back. So I don't want to leave it for hours on end, and then I come back and everything else is broken. So anywho, end of 76.